transform Autobot City. Receptor, tell Blaster to Radio Prime for reinforcements. Blur, you can help me alert the others. Come on, Earth. And you'll die trying, just like Megatron.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Now, before we get started, I want to say a massive shout out to everyone that suggested this figure gets reviewed, and a shout out to pretty much everyone that has recently subscribed to my channel. Now, the shout outs will go to the people whose names are, well, from Discord, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, etc. So if you're watching this, you know who you are. You're getting the shout out. And moving on to the actual review, if you can tell from the intro of this video, it is none other than the Transformers Generations War for Cybertron Kingdom Leader Class Ultra Magnus. As you can tell, Ultra Magnus is a heavy retool of the Siege Ultra Magnus that had come out prior to this, and the retool is meant to give him an Earth mode look, though it does have some inaccuracies to his animation model, but it's close enough with the cab or front section of his truck alternate mode to give him that sort of Earth look. As per every review, we'll take a quick look at the packaging. Comes, as you can see, comes in your standard Kingdom packaging that shows off the vehicle mode on this side with his name also shown in Ancient Autobot. On the side, an image of Ultra Magnus with him pointing this side with the Ark crash in the background. He's a Leader Class figure. This side just shows the amazing Kingdom artwork with all the characters that are in the toy line. Up here, Autobot symbol, he is number 20 in the Kingdom toy line. Flip around to the back, product shots of him in his robot and vehicle mode, as well as the obvious gimmick with him being a white Optimus Prime. Transforms in 21 steps from robot to vehicle mode with, 21 steps from the white Optimus Prime to the proper Ultra Magnus, though this also doubles as Magnus himself. 12 steps to transform him from robot to the cab portion of the vehicle mode, and then 16 steps to add all of Ultra Magnus' armor to form the trailer, as well as his weapons. And that's pretty much it for the packaging. Taking, as per tradition with the War for Cybertron Trilogy Kingdom toy line, he does come with a collector card, and the collector card is that of Megatron. Let's see if my camera can focus here. As you can see, it is that of Megatron, golden disc. When you peel it back, it shows returns to gladiatorial fighting pits. At least I think that's what it says. I have read what the Ancient Autobot text says on TF Wiki, so that's pretty much it for that. Moving on to Ultra Magnus himself, as I've said before, he is a heavy retool of the Siege Ultra Magnus that had come out before to give him an Earth mode look. And like I said, it does have some inaccuracies to his original toy, as well as Generation 1 animation model. But it does a pretty good job of what it needs to do as representing G1 Ultra Magnus. As you can see, now his animation model has the missiles up here, which is what I did. Now the instructions show the missiles to be on this port back here, but for accuracy to his on-screen appearance, they're supposed to go up here. His blaster, on the other hand, which isn't shown in vehicle mode, that he has in robot mode, it just plugs back here or up here. Now, he is quite detailed, like the Siege figure, with obviously the Earth mode, the front headlights, the grille, the windows on the sides and the front. Now, obviously, because he is a retool of the Siege figure, there's no way that he was going to be perfect in his vehicle mode. The back is pretty much identical to the Siege figure. Now, I do not have the Siege figure, as I missed out on that, so I can't do a comparison for that. Now, one thing that is noticeable is that there is supposed to be an Autobot symbol tampographed right here. That doesn't seem to be the case, and that was really a missed opportunity on Hasbro and Takara Tomi's part, where they completely opted to not include an Autobot symbol, and that would really have made him as accurate to his on-screen model. So, yeah. Now, I personally did not go by the instructions when I first transformed him. So I went by a sort of fan mode by taking the armor on his arms and putting them back here, because an issue with Kingdom Ultra Magnus is that because he is a retool, they could not hide the hands in vehicle mode. So fans have taken the liberty, fans including myself, have taken the liberty of taking his armor pieces and wrapping them around his fists, and it works decently enough to where they're not, just sticking out. And he does roll as he should, because as you see, nice detailed wheels. Now, unlike figures such as Earthrise Optimus Prime, which I will bring out for a comparison, he does not turn at the base due to how he has to transform and how all of his armor needs to become his trailer and tab onto the sides of his vehicle mode. Moving on to some comparisons. Here he is with Earthrise Optimus Prime, who is essentially Voyager class Optimus with the trailer, which adds to the Leader class price point. Now, he is pretty good. Now, Ultra Magnus and Optimus are pretty good when both of them have the trailers, as you can see. And obviously they look similar enough from here, although doing their own thing. For those of you who aren't aware, the original Generation 1 Ultra Magnus toy was basically Optimus Prime himself, just white and in some armor. So there you have that comparison. Here's a comparison with Earthrise / Kingdom RC, who I have a review planned coming soon. Now, Ultra Magnus was one of many, well, not really many, but one of the few that were introduced in the 1986 movie that would go on to appear in the subsequent 3rd and 4th seasons of the Generation 1 cartoon. As here are some other comparisons with Siege Hound, Kingdom Warpath. Warpath, I have a review coming after Ultra Magnus. Comparisons with some other figures, some of my Decepticons. Here he is with Starscream. Here he is with his rival Cyclonus, who I had recently gotten a couple of weeks ago. By the time of this recording, Cyclonus, I will also have a review coming soon, depending on who votes between him and another figure that I had also acquired when getting Cyclonus. Here he is with Snapdragon, just because. And for another leader class size comparison, since I did one with Optimus Prime, here he is with Earthrise Double Dealer, who is pretty much a short leader class figure, as Ultra Magnus is meant to be a leader class figure. Double Dealer fits the leader class price point with all the joints and accessories he has, along with his alternate mode of a missile carrier. So there you have that. Now, before we get into transformation, I want to bring up the fact that he can hold one or two small Autobots on the top of him. He can't really store them inside unless they're Micromasters or Battle Masters. To demonstrate that, here is I'm bringing out my Kingdom Warpath and Earthrise / Kingdom RC. Obviously, because of how small they are, they can fit, but when moving them, they will likely fall off. But it is doable. They will fall off, but this is doable as long as, you know, his gun is off to the side. I'm going to use Siege Hound for another comparison. Like I said, it is doable with one or two smaller characters, deluxe class size or core class. Only one Voyager figure could probably fit on this, depending on what that Voyager class figure transforms into. So, yeah, there you have that. Moving on to transformation. Now, I will go into every detail with each of his modes. So, moving on to his armorless mode, which is White Optimus Prime. Just detach all of this and set it off to the side. Move this. And remove these. Now this is the now here I am about to transform the figure into, well, the armorless mode, armorless Magnus. As you can see, this is not shown in the instructions, as it is more of a fan mode. The official instructions show these tabbed onto these two pegs up here that I'm pointing at. Now, I have opted not to do that after seeing some images online. Shit. Moving on to transformation. Now obviously, because he is a retool, they couldn't find a way to hide this, and because of that, the smokestacks are in the wrong place due to how he transforms. Now, in his animation model, these smokestacks on Ultra Magnus are in the same place as Optimus Prime, the Earthrise figure, and, well, pretty much every Optimus Prime figure in truck mode. Moving on to transformation, just take the legs, split them from here, bring the legs down like so, rotate, make sure to bring forward the arms, fold down the arms. Now, as you can see, the fists were rotated, so yeah, rotate the fists, rotate the waist, fold down the heel spurs, bring up this part from the cab portion of the vehicle mode, fold this out, fold this head up, lock that into place, lock the arms into place, and then this is the tricky part where you have to slide this. Now on my copy it is easy to do, but I've seen others struggle on their copies. Then just give him his gun. Now what I like to do to make up for the armorless mode, so he doesn't just have his gun, is give Ultra Magnus his missiles, which kind of looks better to me anyways. So here we have the inner Ultra Magnus robot mode, and as you can see, it is just a white version of Optimus Prime. And I forgot to do a comparison with Optimus without his trailer, but I'm pretty sure you all get the idea. As you can see, bring him in for a closer look. He has red eyes, a blue mouth plate. I don't know if you can see the red eyes. There we go. Let me just fix my camera. Yeah, as you can see, he has red eyes, blue mouth plate, big torso, even if it is out of proportion with what his original toy and some comic appearances depict him with. Autobot symbol on his left shoulder. The Optimus Prime looking crotch plate, as well as the gorilla abs. He is a nicely done figure, as you can see. Now, articulation is pretty limited when it comes to when he's fully Ultra Magnus, but he is a bit more sort of agile, I get, as you could say. Now, the head is on a swivel. I can't tell if it's on a swivel or a ball joint. I'm guessing it's probably on a ball joint. Arms, do the full 360, in and out, rotation at the bicep, bend at the elbow, rotation at the wrists, waist rotation. Legs can kick forward that far on good ratchet joints, back to about that far before they hit that back piece. Outward, he can do the full splits. Thigh rotation, he does have full thigh rotation, depending on whether or not you pop off. As it is on a swivel joint, you can pop this off, but why would you want to do that? Bend at the knee, 90 degrees, and ankle tilt, like so. So yeah, pretty good articulation, which is to be expected from a War for Cybertron Trilogy figure. Obviously he has back kibble, but it's not much of a deal breaker as it actually works considering what he has to transform into. He is detailed all around, and obviously the Optimus Prime-esque wheels on the legs. So yeah, that pretty much covers the inner robot mode for Ultra Magnus. Moving on to Ultra Magnus himself, his proper robot mode. You're pretty much just gonna disassemble his trailer to become the rest of him. Pop off all of that. Pop off that. Split this back section like so. Now I recommend being careful when doing so because these parts could break when transforming him, but they haven't broken on my copy, which is good. And that's pretty much it for taking apart the trailer, moving on to the transformation of bringing him all together, fold in these panels like so. They will there are open slots that will tab into here like so. Do this for both sides, obviously. And there you have his legs. As for his shoulder pads, his shoulder armor, it's pretty simple. Just fold this up, and that's pretty much it. This was already done, but all you have to do is open it, so these could go onto his arms. Then, what you want to do is take this, fold it in, fold this up like so, and all we have to do now is transform the inner robot by folding up the heel spurs, taking the shoulders, splitting them like so, taking this section, rotating it like so, take this, take the chest, fold back the Optimus Prime as head, close that back up. You're pretty much gonna do something similar to transforming him into truck mode. You're just gonna slide that up like so, fold this section down like so, fold this back up, and now we can get him fully assembled. Slide that back in, take leg pieces, form his legs, take his armor pieces for his arms, fold that up like so, do the same for both sides, obviously. Then take his shoulder pieces and tab them onto the shoulders. Make sure to tab the shoulders back into place. Take the missiles and put them onto his shoulders like so. Come on, get in there. There we go. And now for the finishing touch, taking what is essentially Magnus' main body. There are open slots that will tab into this, like so. Then just fold everything back, and this will lock into place here. Now, it is optional to rotate his head, so that's what I do when transforming him into truck mode. And here we have Kingdom Leader Class Ultra Magnus in robot mode. And he's a good update and representation of what G1 Ultra Magnus is supposed to be. As you can see, he works in robot mode better than he does in truck mode, because truck mode obviously got the short end of the stick from being a retool of the Siege Magnus. But he is a good figure overall. If you missed out on the Siege Magnus, there's the Kingdom Magnus, which I opted to go for as I had missed out on the Siege Magnus. Now, articulation. Now, he does have more detail in robot mode than in vehicle mode, though it's pretty much the same, with all the white, blue, and red, which is... And to be honest, I like the Kingdom Ultra Magnus better than the Siege figure, which I never got, as I've mentioned before, as he is more clean, doesn't have all the battle damage. Then again, battle damage is not a big deal for me, as that's what Siege was about, with the Cybertron and alternate modes, and battle damage, some of which carried into Earthrise. His missiles are detailed and painted well, with nice red and white. Same with the shoulders, nice white, nice blue, nice white hands, and blue armor pieces, nice blue and red torso. Now he does have, see, one thing I like about certain figures, depending on if Hasbro does it justice, is give them clear plastic. As you can see, Ultra Magnus has clear blue plastic. Now, I would show this off, but he does have light piping in his eyes, but I don't have a flashlight on me. He does have light piping in his eyes, so just so you know, if you have a flashlight, you can shine them into here, and his eyes will light up, which is one of the firsts on a figure, because not every War for Cybertron Trilogy figure has light piping in them, which doesn't suck, but it's eh. His head, let's take a look at the head sculpt, because if there's anything that they did this figure justice, it's give him a more cartoon accurate head sculpt with the sort of square, boxy eyes. Eyes, nose, mouth, and chin detailed well, with his sort of ears painted nice gunmetal gray, nice blue for the head, nice white for the crotch section, which they were able to detail nicely. Nice blue and white for crotch section, nice white for the legs and thighs. Now obviously you can tell the difference between painted and multi-plastic. They painted this while keeping the multi-plastic from the legs. Same deal with the arms and hands. They painted the shoulders, but the white plastic is molded. See, the white plastic to me is molded that it looks like paint, and it actually works. His shins are detailed nicely in red, and his lower knees, or his upper shins, are detailed nice gunmetal gray. Feet are detailed in nice blue, and just like his animation model, he does have the wheels on the side of his feet, while the inner Optimus, while the other wheels, the wheels that store on the Optimus Prime legs, hide inside, and the front and the wheels just hide on his butt. Yeah, he does have a clean backpack. It's not a big deal breaker for me. As you can see, he has an Autobot symbol on his ass, along with the front headlights. So yeah, Ultra Magnus has a booty, and that booty is the lower part of his cab from his alternate mode. Yes, Ultra Magnus has an Autobot symbol on his ass. I want you to take a moment and laugh at that, if it's laughable to you. Whoop. Articulation wise, it's pretty much the same, though like I said, it is a bit limited. Head is, I don't know if it's on a ball joint or a swivel joint. I'm pretty sure it's on neither. I'm pretty sure it's on a pin joint. It does do the full 360. Arms are the same, in and out, full 360, rotation at shoulder, bicep rotation, bend at the elbow, wrist rotation, though it is a bit limited as you do end up starting to pop this open when doing that. The waist rotation is limited, though if you move his back piece up, it is doable, but it is a bit limited due to how this is hitting those pieces on the side, right there. Legs can kick forward that far, back that far. You can do the splits, bend at the knee, though as you can see it is less of a 90-degree bend when compared to his armorless form, and a deep ankle rocker joint. So Ultra Magnus is pretty posable for what he is. His gun is also detailed impeccably well with red as the main base with gunmetal gray applied, which is nice. They detailed the inside of the barrel. So there you have that. Moving on to some comparisons now. Here he is with Optimus. So you can see how that works out. As you can tell, Ultra Magnus definitely fits Leader class price point, whereas Optimus is just a Voyager with a trailer. Here he is with fellow 1986 cast member RC, who, like I said before, I will have a review of coming soon. And just because, here he is with Hound and Warpath. Now, Warpath was in Season 3 with the other 1986 Autobots, despite him having been introduced in Season 2 during 1985. And while they were never together, Hound was also in the 1986 movie in one scene, though his tour was discontinued during 1986, so they have that. Here he is with Starscream, whose ghosts appeared in the subsequent third season, so you can see how that works out. Here he is with his rival Cyclonus, who I will have a review coming soon after I finally do my review on Warpath and RC. I will have a review for Cyclonus coming soon, either him or, like I said, another character whose name I will not review. Just because, here he is with Snapdragon, so you can see how that works out. And for the leader class comparison that I brought up earlier, here is Ultra Magnus with Earthrise Double Dealer. As you can see, Double Dealer is a short leader class figure when compared to Ultra Magnus. So there you have that. Now, one thing I did forget to show off is that you can store his gun on his back, like so, as per tradition with Warp Cybertron Trilogy figures. He is blast effect compatible, along with having all the combat system ports on his arms, legs, 2 on his feet, the 1 on his back, and 2 on his shoulders, as well as, well, depending on the open porthole, you can put them on his shoulder pads, so you can have something like that, depending on what type of weapon has extra portholes. As you can see, he's as per tradition with Warp Cybertron Trilogy figures, he is blast effect compatible, so he can get shot in his leg, shoulder, whatever. Obviously the missiles are compatible with blast effects. The blast effect I'm using is from the Siege Taraxodon figure, which I have done a review on already. Now, if you had a bigger blast effect from, say, Siege Jetfire, Omega Supreme, Earthrise Skylynx, or any of them, they will be compatible with his gun. So, there you have that demonstration. One thing I also forgot to mention is that on his animation model, Ultra Magnus has an Autobot symbol right here. So when they retooled him, they must have forgotten to add that little detail, which leaves nothing here, though you could probably add like a Toy Hacks sticker or something to complete the look, as he does have some detail on his left shoulder when compared to the right, which is supposed to have an Autobot symbol, but that's not a big deal breaker for me. As for final thoughts, time to give my final thoughts. Is he worth it? If you're going for G1 accuracy, yes. If you are fine with the Siege Ultra Magnus figure, then you don't need to get this. If you do want to get this because you missed out on the Siege figure, or you want him for the Earth mode, despite how inaccurate it may seem, go for it. As personally, either version of either the Siege or Kingdom Ultra Magnus is the best Generation 1 Ultra Magnus figure that we've gotten in years. Now, we did get a Combined Wars Ultra Magnus prior to Siege, but that was Combined Wars and it didn't do much, as while it didn't have the inner Optimus Prime robot mode, it wasn't really accurate to Ultra Magnus in general. So as a figure overall, Ultra Magnus accomplishes what he needs to do. Give us a really good and accurate robot mode, a fairly decent vehicle mode despite its shortcomings, good sculpt work, detail, all of that. So now, the unfortunate thing about Kingdom Ultra Magnus is that he started shelf forming because, well, people are keeping their Siege Ultra Magnus and not getting the Kingdom version, which led to... See, now, because Ultra Magnus was shelf forming, I was lucky enough to find him. So, yeah. If you see one, even if you have the Siege one, if you're fine with the Siege one, as I said before, you can go ahead and keep him. If you want the Kingdom Ultra Magnus because you missed out on the Siege figure, or you want him for a cleaner look, less battle damage, and more accurate to his cartoon/animation model, then yeah, he's a good figure. While not the highlight of Kingdom, he is definitely worth the pickup. So, there you have it, guys. There you have it, everyone. My review, my look at the Transformers Generations War for Cybertron Trilogy Kingdom Leader Class Ultra Magnus. As I've said before, I want to give a massive shout out to all the people on my Discord, Snapchat, Instagram, even those in the YouTube, even those in the comments of my YouTube videos. If you follow me on social media, you can keep up with whatever I do. Follow me in what I've said before. Massive shout out to, well, as I've said, pretty much everyone that you're going to see in the intro of this video. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this look at Ultra Magnus. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow me on all my social media, which I will probably leave in the description or comment section down below. And I will catch you guys next time.
Duty to take this ship back to Cybertron. And it is my duty to deliver it and you to Galvatron. Just so we understand each other. It has been too long since I had an opponent that was worthy of my full attention. You're finished, Magnus! I shall use your head as a doorstop! Autobots, prepare to depart! Guys, you will not escape my wrath so easily! Reprogram the asteroid Cyclonus.